Hello there and welcome to a developer interview for patch 10.1 Embers of Neltharion. I've just seen the presentation and I'm joined by Maria Hamilton and Pat Dawson from Blizzard, and I've got a couple questions and hopefully we can get some good answers and things like that, but it definitely looks very cool. First question, I guess, for both of you, how you doing?
Great. I'm caffeinating. This is early in the morning for me.
Yeah, I'm doing wonderful myself. A lot of really fun energy for World of Warcraft over the past few months, but be it our 10.05 update, our 10.07 update, which is just around the corner, and now this amazing full-on new zone, new season that we get to look forward to coming up soon.
Yeah, I think it's been awesome. Like, I've been pretty heavily testing all the PTR stuff, like 10.05 and 10.07. 10.07 was such a massive patch for like a 0.7. I was really impressed with everything kind of going on there, especially like, you know, the amount of lore and things happening, like with the quest lines and then the vaults and everything like that. And obviously that leads straight into Embers of Neltharion and the Zaralek Cavern. Is that correct?
Yep, Zaralek Cavern.
Amazing. Okay, I guess kind of the first one, I saw that there was kind of an update to not only obviously the new zone, but we also have stuff going on in the Dragon Isles, the regular Dragon Isles, right? So right now, obviously, we have the elemental storms that are going on because of Razageth and things like that. What is becoming of those? Are they going away? Are they being upgraded? Will the rewards still be available, the achievements, etc.?
Yeah, you'll still have access to the achievements, the rewards, everything for that. You can still do that and use that as a catch-up mechanic if you're leveling a new character or you just want to participate in it. I know for myself, I'm a collector, so I'm going to want to make sure that I get in and finish all those things. And I haven't quite done that yet. I've been very busy with other activities in games. So yeah, I'm glad they're not going away. So you'll still have an opportunity to do those.
Excellent. I guess a question for Maria, as you do like more like quest orientated stuff, right? Like story and things like that. With kind of the zone, will there be a lot of kind of like I guess flashback would be probably maybe the best word for it, of Neltharion, and more about that kind of like backstory of Neltharion while we're down there?
Because we're traveling to Zaralek Cavern, which is where Aberrus is located, the lab where Neltharion did some pretty heinous experiments, we are going to see what he was up to. We're gonna get a real good sense of what happened there, and also this is where he was driven mad. This is where he made that flip, became effectively Deathwing. So there's a lot to learn lore wise here, and as we explore around the cavern, we'll also see some of the some of what happened in the cavern because Neltharion was there. So Jarden Elders, for example, this was the home of the Jarden. He was helping himself to them from time to time as experimental options. He had dumped failed experiments in the cavern. So there's a lot to see here that has his hands all over it.
Okay, awesome. That's exciting. Is there any old god influence?
I wouldn't say directly that there's an old god influence, but I would say that certainly you're going to learn a lot more about what happened to Neltharion down here. And I don't want to spoil too much. I want people to get there as they play. So essentially, I think you'll have a pretty good idea of what happened, and you'll have the opportunity to learn that with the Black Dragons, with Sibelian and Rathian. So they will be learning it at the same time the player is.
That's awesome. So I assume we go down there with the Black Dragonflight with is it Eberson as well? Is that
Yes. Abyssian, Sibelian,
sorry.
Rathian, and also Emberthal is along. So that will give you sort of different opinions and context to what they're seeing as they travel through the cavern.
Okay, cool. I guess how do we get there? Is there like separate entrances? Is it through the Forbidden Reach?
There's actually multiple entrances from the Dragon Isles in there. You'll actually burrow through some tunnels that have been bored into the earth, and you'll actually just go right into the zone. You can get there through your dragon riding. You can fly right in, and you can dragon ride all around the new cavern itself too.
Okay. Is it instanced, or is it actually in the outside
No, it's
world?
actually, this is really cool. We actually developed all new technology to make this possible because in the past you couldn't put a zone directly underneath another zone. You had to make like a special, either an instance or something like some sort of like cavern or something that was geometry itself. But instead, we're using our zone technology. Our engineering team created what they're calling airlock technology, which is where you can seamlessly transfer in to this new area. Without even noticing it. It just feels natural and normal as you drag and ride through this cavern.
Okay.
It is it is super cool too. I got to say, like you come up from up high and you just go zooming down into that cavern, and it's got twists and stuff. It's pretty cool. Like
so cool.
It's really enjoyable.
I love that. That's actually really cool. Is that similar to like, because I noticed in 1007 with the Scare Vaults, you kind of get that seamless transition where you go in there, but it's obviously in the same zone. I assume it's kind of similar to that, but yeah, that's so cool. Excellent. I did notice in the presentation there was mention of new dragon riding abilities. If we could get some possible information on that.
I'm trying to remember if I think Maria, correct me if I'm wrong. There's one where you can like stop on a dime. I think there's one where you'll be able to just sort of like stop very quickly. I mean, as somebody who was trying to get all those banners at the top of the peaks in the initial launch, it was really difficult to like land right there. But if you could stop your dragon pretty quickly, that was one thing you could do. There's also customizations that we want to add as we go through this. We'll be adding some as well for dragon riding. And there's a new Drake that you can acquire in the cavern itself.
Yeah, I think one of the other ones also allows you to regain as you skim, as you stay very close to the ground, you're regaining faster as well. Something along those lines, but I don't know that it's 100% set exactly how it works yet. But there are some cool new adjustments, yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. You mentioned about customization. Is there like any additional customization for current like dragons as well? I saw like helms were kind of data mined a while ago for the dragon riding drakes, things like that.
I might have to get back to you. I don't know that.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I believe so, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't want to promise you something that we're not for sure.
No worries. I guess with the kind of Cloud Serpent type dragon riding drake, I assume all the colors and unlocks and things like that we got already in Dragonflight will be available for that as well. So say if we got like the bronze scales from the Valdrakken Accord, we would get that, I guess.
Yeah, the new Drake we're introducing would be subject to the same rules and restrictions as the current.
Excellent, cool. It's I really like that Drake. Will that be? I assume that's unlocked through the story of the Cavern.
Yes, that's correct.
Awesome. That's really cool. What else I've got? Oh yeah, of course. Renown. So we're getting a new Renown track with the mole people. I forget the name. What's the name of the? Niffin. Excellent. Will that include a new level of will we get new levels of Renown as well, or is that still going to kind of be like 25 or 30?
You're asking how high the Renown track is? For the Niffin specifically. I actually don't think they've finalized yet. We're still working on what unlocks at each Renown level, and we won't make it be 25 just because the others were 25. We'll make it fit for the activities that we have to unlock. One of the cool activities that didn't get a lot of love, but I want to talk about because it's awesome, is what could be described as cave diving with a Niffin buddy. You make friends with this particular Niffin, and they use their nose to sniff out interesting places, and so he can take you basically to different caverns and things, additional caverns and things where you can find stuff. But it's based on his sense of smell and what he thinks smells interesting. And we're calling it sniffin seeking. So
that's excellent.
We think it's pretty funny. But the Niffin are really cool, yeah. And I think people should enjoy sort of meeting them. Like I said, it's all sort of nose scent related. Their culture is very scent related. So, and they burrow places.
Excellent. That's really cool. I saw I did see something sneaking in there on the presentation. The word snail races was on there. Any info on that? Like, is that similar to dragon riding races just with snails, or what are we kind of looking at with that system?
Well, it's that cultural Drogbar thing of loving their snails and loving their snail races and loving to bet on their snail races and so forth. And we have some content that allows you to get your own snail racer mount.
Amazing.
You have to train it, of course. It's quite slow at the start. But yeah, it's Drogbar. That's all Drogbar content. That and lifting heavy things, which fits with them as well.
That's really cool. I saw, I guess one thing that kind of sprung to mind when I was kind of watching the presentation is like, obviously, we've already been to Depot back in Cataclysm. Is there any sort of like design kind of comparisons there with the way that the zone looks and feels in a sense?
I don't think so. Really, you have these three distinct areas. The sort of natural caverny area, has their classic stalactites and stalagmites that are kind of pointy. But we also have this area that is quite crystalline. And so those ones are more like columns, greenish sort of columns. And then we have the sulfur pools area, which is all yellow and caustic and bubbly. And then the lava area, which has the classic lava shape. So I don't think it's very much like Deep Home in the sense that it feels it's vast. I mean, it's a very, very big cavern, and the altitude of the floor as well as the ceiling is changing as you're moving through it. So, dragon riding skill is super helpful here because you want to zoom right up to the as you're coming up, and then you want to dip down to avoid the stalactite, and it's kind of an interesting space. It's not quite as I don't know. It's not quite as a giant hollow in the earth as much as it is, a cave system. So,
yeah. Okay, yeah. As you mentioned in the presentation, like you said, Dragon Riding just feels really nice in there. So I was kind of looking forward to that, I guess. With I think when people kind of speculate the underground thing, we were like, well, how's Dragon Riding going to work? But as you mentioned, it seems like quite cool that you kind of whiz through the caverns and things like that. I got a Mythic Plus question. I assume that would be for Pat. I noticed that was it Vortex Pinnacle is in the Mythic Plus rotation this time around. That's
Yes.
from Cataclysm. I think previously, I don't know if it was an official quote or anything like that. Missa Pandaria was going to be like the kind of unofficial cutoff for those Mythic Plus dungeons, and obviously Vortex Pinnacle being from Cataclysm. Is that something that's kind of changed behind the scenes? Is could we see possibly even like earlier dungeons potentially added in the future, or?
Yeah, I think the world is open to us in terms of what dungeons we want to have make their Mythic Plus debut. So Vortex Pinnacle was one that I think was a team favorite, one that we've wanted to do for a while now, and just kind of felt really open, airy, and fun. So we wanted to revisit that and see what it felt like to update a dungeon that had never been in the Mythic Plus rotation to become part of it. So this certainly opens the door for other opportunities in the future. But let's see how this one goes and see how the community likes it, and we'll consider options in the future.
That's really cool. Yeah, I was, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, amazing. That my mind just went, oh man, we could get all these other crazy dungeons from Cataclysm and whatnot. So yeah, that's awesome to see in there. What else have I got on there? This is just I seem to ask this every interview I do, but normally the answer is no. But race class combinations, obviously we monks were opened up in 1007, and then obviously with Dragonflight as well, we got some extras. Is there any kind of additions coming in 10.1, or is that something for the future?
I don't think we have anything planned for 10.1 at this point. But for the future, yeah, obviously we're open to it. We just, like you said, we just did it with monks. I think we did mage, rogue, and priest for all in 10.05 as well. So the race class combinations are expanding as they make sense and as we can make sure that they're properly animated and look right. So we go through the process and try to open things up to just give more options and customizations to people over time.
Amazing. That's the best answer ever. That just gets me so every time there's a new race class combo, I just get so excited. So I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what happens in the future. What else have I got? Character customization. So we just got new hair colors for the orcs and humans and the worgens in 1007. It might maybe be a bit too early to say, but is there anything potentially on the horizon for that?
Well, you also got in 1007 as well. So that's we definitely gave some time to orcs and humans for 1007. But Maria, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say we did tie that to the heritage armor lines. We thought, oh, okay, we're doing heritage armor lines. Let's add some additions there as well. And I would expect, that more will be coming eventually. as we do more work on the different races. So.
Yeah, I guess kind of bouncing off heritage armors actually, and the quest lines and things. Obviously, as of right now, on the PTR, the heritage armor quest lines aren't testable, and I don't know if that was an intent in regards to like encryption and kind of keeping that kind of stuff secret. Is that something that we kind of see more of in 10.1, like potentially big story beats kind of being hidden away as such?
What we've been doing over the last, while in Dragonflight, also in 9.2.5, we did encrypt some things. We've been working on our encryption technology. We've been working out some of the kinks and finding some of the bugs. We still let things slip, as you know, and occasionally fail to encrypt things properly. But we do have encrypted content in the Return to Forbidden Reach and also in Embers of Neltharion. Sometimes, usually that unencrypts on day one, but not always. We're testing tech that also lets us unencrypt when someone reaches it, or the first time someone unlocks the renown to the right point. So, for example, some of the renown unlocked chapters that happened in Dragonflight, that was some new tech that lets us set a timestamp, or as soon as someone gets to this point in the renown, now it can unlock. So we are working on that. We think I think it's a case where sometimes we want the community to experience something together, right? We want them to see it at the same time, and it gives us an opportunity to have that moment of excitement as somebody finds something like that, and oh my gosh, isn't that amazing? So we have been working on it, but here and there, now and then to try different things. So yes, the heritage armor's definitely encrypted.
Excellent. No, that's good. I honestly, I'm a big advocate for it. I really like the fact that we kind of all get to experience it together and doesn't get kind of spoiled out there as such beforehand. But yeah, I'm just trying to think of my list. I'm looking at my list and I'm like, well, kind of asked that already. I guess with first of all, I really like the fact that we're not kind of abandoning the Dragon Isles as such, like with this patch. So we are, there is still campaign quests going on there and new kind of assaults and stuff like that. I think that's really cool. I guess, Maria, could you tell us possibly a little bit more about what's happening with the campaign side of things with kind of the mainland Dragon Isles stuff, potentially? Not too spoilery, obviously.
So the campaign itself, that's marked as like a campaign chapter with the special shield-shaped quest bangs, that's all in Zarelek. Well, most of it is in Zarelek Cavern, but we also have this continuation of our story of the Blue Dragons and what happened there. So as you know, Caligos called for the Blue Dragons to come home. The Oathstone was re-empowered, and not very many showed up. And now we're going to find out why. Now we're going to find out what happened there, and we're going to take a look at the state of the Blue Dragonflight and get a good solid look. We're also looking at the next step of what happens with tier. So for those of that have played that chapter, we know we've created a tier body, but it's not really doing anything just yet, and so we're gonna start working on that as well. So we wanted to continue some of these stories, and we intentionally sat down and designed out pacing throughout our different releases so that we can tell these continuing stories and let people kind of stay engaged. And then our .7 patches give us an opportunity to lead into them. So Return to the Forbidden Reach is a great example of that, right? Where we're going to have a chance to kind of lead you right into what happens in Embers of Neltharion.
Yeah, I assume there was probably a pretty good reason why the 10.07 storyline was encrypted. I assume if we were able to play it, we'd probably have a pretty good idea of what's going on in 10.1.
Yeah, the hope is that it serves as a prologue to the chapters in 10.1. It's obviously the first time we've tried a prologue, so we're hopeful that this is gonna do the job for us. But yeah, the idea is to set you up so that you know what's happening, you understand who's involved and why we're going where we're going.
That's pretty cool. I like that. I guess 10.07 as well brought in the Bane quest line, and that was kind of a offshoot of everything that's going on, I guess, in the Dragon Isles. And I really enjoyed it. I did play through it on the PTR. Thoroughly enjoyed that quest. Could we expect anything like that in the future with different kind of like side adventures of various characters from Warcraft history and things like that?
As we as we move through this patch cadence, we are telling additional stories here and there where there's things that we think it's important, we'd like to get out there, unfinished business, as it were, just a variety of things like that. So you know, we've got a plan for what we're going to do for the future. Some of those things we're not positive exactly where they might fall, or exactly, you know, we can't promise they're going to come in at a particular time. It's part of why they're not on the roadmap, because we know we want to tell these stories. We just need to find the right places to tell them. So short answer, yes. Longer rambling answer, yes-ish.
That's fine with me.
I think too, it's just one of the advantages of doing more and more frequent content updates to World of Warcraft. We've really adopted that philosophy in Dragonflight, and it gives us opportunities to do things like that. So not everything just has to be main storyline focused. There can be other delightful moments that we can provide that maybe are a little bit not straight narrative support. So
yeah. I think it's fantastic, honestly, the kind of like release cadence and what we've had so far in Dragonflight. Like, we're not even in 10.1 and we've already had, you know, 0.7, which is, you know, really just a massive patch. There's so much going on in the Return to Forbidden Reach, you know, not just the story content, but obviously everything else with, you know, the rares and the vaults and whatnot. I'm running out of questions now. I guess I'll start with Pat. Is there anything that you're personally excited for? Like, what's the most thing you're most excited for at 10.1?
Yeah. So for me, I actually, the way I play World of Warcraft, I really like Mythic Plus. I like raiding. I like rated PvP. So whenever a new season comes out, I get really enthusiastic about all the cool new things I get to experience. And you know, for this one, it's the shakeup of the dungeon rotation. I think is really interesting. It's the first time we've done that in the season 2. Typically, for the first, I think going back forever, we've always kept the same dungeon rotation, at least through the first 3 seasons. Shadowlands is the first time we really shook that up at all. So just getting different dungeons to learn and sink our teeth into, that's going to be really fun as a Mythic Plus player. I also think I also play a lot of alts. And one of the things that is important to me is like gearing them and how do I do that? And we've really looked at how we're dealing with like our upgrade system for this patch. So we've introduced a new system. So the current one is, you know, you have Valor and you can go and you can upgrade based on your Mythic Plus rating, depending on how high you want to spend your currency at and how high you've achieved. So this one's going to be a little different. Rather than having like Storm Essences and Valor and multiple currencies, we're just going to have one currency, and that's going to be called Flight Stones. And then in order to upgrade your gear past a certain level, we have something called Shadowflame Crests that you earn through doing more challenging activities. So rather than just have it tied directly to Mythic Plus rating, you'll be able to earn these through more challenging activities in the world. So you have one currency and one unlock for it. So this is a completely cool system that I'm really interested to see how players engage with it.
Amazing. That sounds, yeah, I'm glad I asked. That's really cool. Maria, what are you most excited for in 10.1?
Well, I already talked a little bit about sniff and seeking, but I'm looking forward to that because it's got a puzzle element to it, and I quite like puzzles and that sort of how do I get to this place from that place style of kind of thinking about an environment. I'm also excited about raiding. I do enjoy raiding, and I'm looking forward to the new bosses. With 9 new bosses, there's a lot of new stuff to learn. I'm always very careful not to play the raid before I get to actually play the raid for reals. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's always a cool surprise to find out, gosh, what's going on. But there's one boss in particular that you might have noticed in the art that is sort of the experimental, the trial of Deathwing's armor, right? His armor plating. And I can't wait to play that one. I've heard great things about that one, so I can't wait to play that one out and try it out. So that's big for me. I too am an alcoholic, so I am also looking forward to getting more of my characters to max level and sort of playing more in Zarelak to level them up and not level them up. Sorry, level up their gear. So yeah. That's something I can't wait to do. So.
Yeah, I assume the kind of the outside world eye level and everything like that will go up as well, along with obviously the new season and everything like that. with the new invasions. I guess kind of last question, I suppose. Is it Feral? I've written Feralac. That's what it's called, right? The Feralac invasions or storms or something like that. Is it?
It's Farak.
Farak. Sorry,
Farak.
I
Yeah,
apologize.
he's the fire incarnate.
Oh, okay, yeah. So is that like so similar to Elemental Storms? Is that system or?
No, it's a bit different. Essentially, Farak is going to unleash his hate in the form of fire in the Dragon Isles, and he will have some of his allies along with him assisting in these assaults. And during the course of these assaults, you'll find that they are looking for something. They're gathering something. They're looking for something. They have a goal, and there'll be like bosses and things to fight as you play through it. And Farak himself will make an appearance and flame pretty much everything in the vicinity. So you should have some nostalgia there as well to experience.
I was just about to mention the Deathwing kind of comparisons there. That's excellent. But yeah, I think that's probably all we got time for today. But thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. And looking forward to testing out 10.1 on the PTR. Hopefully soon, TM, I guess.
Very soon.
Very soon. I like that.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
Very, very soon. Yeah.
Very, very soon. Oh.
Mhm.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
All right. Enjoy. Thank you.